Welcome to the first Hot Takes video of 2025. You guys know the deal by now. You guys want another Hot Takes video? Let's get 2,000 likes on this video and I'll make it happen. But let's not waste any more time. The first hot take of this video comes from Alexis, and she says BO3 Double Pap is one of the best additions to zombies. Older games just had your gun turn into a pea shooter past round 25, making the wonder weapons the only reliable weapon for high rounds, thus making every game feel the same. I kind of agree with you, but I also kind of disagree with you. I agree with your comment in the sense that it was not fun in World at War, BO1, BO2, where once you hit round 20, round 25, maybe round 30, every single red gun was worthless. I mean, not literally every gun, but 90% of the red guns were worthless. You still had good guns like the Scar H on Origins and the AN on the Victus maps, but for the most part, once you hit that 25 to 30 mark, the red guns fell off a cliff. And your only way to kill zombies remotely fast is with the wonder weapon or with traps. And I do think that's how zombies should be, but I don't think the cutoff should be at like round 25. On the flip side though, I also don't like how they did it in Cold War, where like basically any gun can carry to round 100 easily. And although in BO3, once you hit round 25, round 30, most of the guns did start to fall off, they were all kept relevant thanks to alternate ammo types. Every single one of them has infinite damage and it's on a cooldown, so you can just hold up the zombies and shoot an AAT into them and take them out that way. But this doesn't make your gun super overpowered, because when the AAT doesn't activate, your gun still has this normal base damage, which, as we've already went over, is kind of underwhelming. So I did like the alternate ammo types in BO3. They're my favorite out of any alternate ammo types: BO3, BO4, Cold War, BO6. I prefer BO3s the most, mostly because I have my GOAT fireworks in there. Please, Treyarch, bring my GOAT back, please. The next hot take is from Skater, and he says, starting with a pistol is better than a loadout weapon. When Cold War came out, I hated the loadout system. I really did. And I'm sure for all the active watchers out there, you're probably tired of hearing me say this, but what was the point of spawning in with an SMG or spawning in with a pistol when they fall off at like round 5? Why would you spawn in with that when you could just spawn in with a Gallo or a Howard or a Street Sweeper and be perfectly fine until like round 10? You didn't even have to upgrade to green rarity. You could literally just have the base loadout rarity weapon and be fine until round 10. I hated how this worked in Cold War, and I'm still not a big fan of it in BO6, but I do have to admit they have balanced it a lot better. Although you can still load in with any gun that you want to. Even the best weapons in this game, like the ASG, start to fall off at gray rarity as early as round 5, so although that will last you longer than a base pistol would in the older games, it still is, like I said, a step in the right direction from Cold War. But with that being said, if you look at my BO6 content, 99% of the time, I am spawning in with the GS45, so yes, I do agree with you. The next hot take is from Porridge Johnny, and he says, the BO3 hype train has rode for too long. Yes, it is an exceptional zombies experience, but it's too late to tell Activision we like Infinite Warfare, World War II, or BO4 zombies now. During their life cycles, everyone thought, yeah, but it's not BO3, and just wrote it off. None of them truly tried again, and now we're here. Not that it's all bad, but it could have been better, and it's some of the community's fault. Yes, yes, yes. This is something I don't talk about very often, but once I get started on this topic, I get pretty heated pretty quickly. Fuck! Come on, zombies community. We were eating so good in the mid-2010s. BO3, Infinite Warfare, World War II, BO4, all within the span of 4 years. 4 years! We got, what is that? I'm not doing the math, but that's like 25 zombies maps. All from different developers, all on different engines, all felt different from one another. And even if, yeah, I didn't like World War II zombies and thought most of the maps in that game were pretty bad, I can still appreciate that it was a different zombies dev team going for a different style of gameplay, and that there is an audience out there that likes it. But like you said, when we were getting all this amazing content, everyone was just saying, yeah, but it's not BO3, I want BO3 2.0. Most of these experiences are pretty good in my opinion, and the fact that the zombies community just wrote it off because number 1, it wasn't Treyarch, and number 2, and more importantly, it wasn't BO3, it made Activision realize that not only does the zombies community not want anything zombies unless it's from Treyarch, but these other dev teams don't need to touch zombies ever again. In fact, we'll just have Treyarch make zombies for every single game because it's such an easy thing to do for Treyarch. No one else can do it, but Treyarch, they can do it easily. So we'll have them make zombies for Cold War, and we'll have them make zombies for Vanguard, and we'll have them make zombies for Modern Warfare 3, and we'll have them make zombies for Black Ops 6, and we'll have them make zombies for COD 2025. Wait, people are bitching that the stuff's not high quality anymore? How could that be? But Treyarch's making it. I thought y'all said that if Treyarch made it, then the zombies would be good, and if Treyarch doesn't make it, then zombies would be bad. We have a zombies community where half the community thinks that every single zombies game since Cold War has sucked, and coincidentally, every single zombies game since Cold War has been released by Treyarch, proving the point at long last that just because it's Treyarch doesn't mean it's good, and just because it's not Treyarch doesn't mean it's bad. It really would have been nice to have a permanent COD cycle like Infinite Warfare World War II BO4, where every dev team is making their own zombies game, and they have time to work on it and make it as good as they possibly can. It would have been nice to have all those different dev teams making different styles of zombies, with different boss enemies, different art styles and everything, but it wasn't Treyarch, so the zombies community didn't want it. The next hot take is from Sky, and he says, the original Easter egg song in Transit was much better than what its replacement was. It was unnecessary heat. You know, every now and again, I get people that say this, and I don't know. Just as a kid that grew up during the Skrillex era and everything, I never want to listen to that type of music ever again, man. If you don't know, when Transit first came out, it didn't have Carry On by Kevin Sherwood on it. It instead had a Skrillex song on it, and it activated the same way, but for one reason or another, they replaced the song. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they realized that having dubstep blasting in your ears when you're trying to traverse a very creepy, foggy, hellish landscape is not the best fit. Sorry, I'm not trying to dog all over your taste in music or whatever, but me personally, like I said, I could go the rest of my life never hearing another dubstep, whatever you want to call it. I could go the rest of my life without ever hearing another dubstep song, and I'd be completely fine with it. Channel member Jabo says, I believe that we don't need Zombies Chronicles 2. I believe that time should be used for more unique content, and also it wouldn't work on the new COD engine. Yeah, I never thought about that until I was on my friend Afterlife's podcast, and we were talking about it there, but the Zombies Chronicles 2 dream is kinda dead. It would have been very weird in Cold War as is with all the mantling and stuff, but especially in BO6 with the Omni movement and everything, and how the zombie AI works, none of those maps would feel anything like they did in their original games. And I'm not just talking about like BO3 Knocked versus Water War Knocked, where it's a lot less scary. Like, fundamentally, how the games play, they play so different that they would have to change a lot about how the map worked to get it to work on the newer games. Like, for example, Transit's gonna be a hell of a lot less scary if you can just sprint everywhere with infinite omnidirectional movement and keep sprinting, and then all of a sudden turn around behind you and keep sprinting and knife the denizen, and then while continually sprinting, turn back around and keep running. That would make that map a lot easier to traverse. For Die Rise, everyone hates that you can fall off the map, so why would they bring BO6's very aggressive zombie AI onto Die Rise and have it to where the zombies would just start chasing people off the map, and that problem would be a lot worse than it ever was in BO2. Then you have something like 5, where like, could you imagine how much easier it would be to survive in the labs with the omnidirectional movement? Or in the war room, you get trapped on the top floor, you can just mantle over the guardrail, and you're fine. They would have to completely change how this game worked, or how the OG maps worked, for them to implement a Zombies Chronicles 2. Would I still like to see it? Of course I would. Of course I would. But at the end of the day, is it practical? I don't think so. Oh boy. Okay, this next comment's bait. We're gonna throw this in here real quick just for the hell of it. Rex says, Cold War Zombies was the last classic zombies game. Yes, you heard me right. He said the last classic. I genuinely have nothing to say. Moving on. Kanewall says, I like that BO3 didn't introduce a lot of new perks, because not only would it have made the HUD worse, but it also would have been too big a selection for new players. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for new perks, but looking at it now, I think it was the right decision for the game mode. Yeah, I mean, you kind of have a point with that. Like, if they would have taken it too far, like what they did with BO4, where at the very beginning of the game, they just shove right in your face, bam! 13 new perks, or whatever it was on launch. 14 new perks. 15 new perks. I don't remember what it was. And they completely overhauled the perk system. Yeah, something like that. That's too much too fast. But in BO3's life cycle, throughout that entire year of content, we had a grand total of 1 new perk, and that was at the very beginning of the game. I think it would have been fine to have a new perk on Zetsubo and a new perk on Garad. Would I have added a new perk on DLC 4? Probably not, and also in my opinion the Giant doesn't need one, and I don't really think Horizon Jack needed one either, but I definitely think we should have gotten more than just Widow's Wine. I'm John says, BO6 is the best zombie since BO3. Not too crazy of a take, but that's my main zombies take. A couple months ago that wouldn't have been too crazy a take, but nowadays you say that, I do think you'd have people coming for your neck. I love BO6, I do, but oh my god. Treyarch, and more specifically Activision, they just can't stop shooting themselves in the foot. Over and over and over again, man. Like, this game had such a strong launch. It was so much fun. Everyone was enjoying Terminus. Everyone was so surprised with Liberty Falls. And then Citadel dropped and everyone lost interest in like a week. And then all the AI shit happened and the Squid Game event happened. And it's just like, Oh my god. Why do they keep doing this to themselves, man? I still do think this is the best game since, I wouldn't say BO3. In my opinion, it's the best game since BO4, because I like BO4 quite a lot. But man, they really got to stop shooting themselves in the foot during this DLC season. Because if they don't, then we might have like a reverse of BO4 in our hands, where on BO4, everyone hated the game on launch, but fast forward to today, and a lot of people actually quite like it. I think we'll have a reverse of that if this keeps up, to where everyone loved BO6 on launch, but looking back at it at the end of 2025, 2026, 7, so on, I think it is going to start leaving a sour taste in people's mouths. Treyarch, Activision, if you're watching this for some reason, there is still time to correct this. Just stop shooting yourself in the foot, please. The next hot take is from Trent, and he says, people putting Citadel as a top 5 zombie map already. Sorry, but Terminus is miles better. Not only is Terminus, in my opinion, miles better, but I don't even think Citadel's in discussion for top 5 map of all time. I don't even think it's in discussion for top 10 map of all time. I think it's a good map, but number one, the swords are too weak. Even post buff, they still could be stronger. And honestly, I feel like a lot of the effects on his sword, like the Raven special ability and the Lightning special ability, I don't know, they just don't feel that creative to me. Like, I was really hoping we'd get like 4 elemental knives, like the glitch from Origins, where like the sword would just have like the fire or the lightning just flowing all throughout it, and anytime you hit a zombie, it would fling the zombies away with the ragdoll mechanics, and if you were using like the fire sword, it would burn them up to a crisp in midair. If you had the lightning one, then it would get shocked with electricity in midair. I'm just not a big fan of the swords in Citadel. I think the Pack-a-Punch quest, if you can even call it that, I think that is very boring. It's literally just go across the map, shoot 3 locks, and kill the boss enemy. Congratulations, packs unlocked. I don't want it to be Dead of the Night. That's not what I'm asking for. I just want it to be fun. And anymore, really, when I play Citadel, I find myself just camping and spawn until round 10, because at that point I'll start having to stamp zombies spawn in, and then I can open the map, unlock Pack-a-Punch, and work on the swords all at once. If I don't do it like that, then after I unlock Pack-a-Punch on like round 5, I am bored out of my mind, just waiting to get to round 10. But yeah, I don't want to talk too much about this because, spoiler alert, but here within the next couple weeks, I will be dropping a mammoth video ranking every single zombies map, and Terminus is like 10 placements above Citadel. Not only that, but Terminus is really high, and I mean really high on my list. Even I was surprised with how high I ranked Terminus. So be on the lookout for that video, but TLDR, I do agree with your point, Trent. I still do think Citadel's a good map. I'm not trying to write it off. I'm not trying to say it's a bad map or nothing. I think it has a good atmosphere, good bosses, even though the amalgam's recycled. I do think he fits the map and flows well with the Doppelgas. Citadel's like a top 20, top 15 map for me. Terminus it's one of my favorites. We'll say that. Alright, we'll do a few more in this video. The next one is from Diseased, and he says, Alpha Omega does not deserve the hate that it gets. The only annoying aspect of it is its Nova 6 gas vents coming back, and maybe the Wraithfire throw for one of the ray gun upgrades. Aside from those 2 things, the map is pretty good. You're almost right. I do think Alpha Omega gets too much hate, but all that hate, like you kinda said, stems from the Nova Bombers. Literally everything about this map that makes people write it off instantly. I'm not talking about the Easter egg or the boss fight or cartoon style cutscenes. Those aren't things that make people instantly write off a zombies map. Stuff like the Nova Bombers spawning in and buffing the normal zombies to be super sprinters as early as the late teens and early 20s, and you have to deal with that the entire game or not go to the bottom half of the zombies map, that is abysmal. Needing to re-unlock Pack-a-Punch every few rounds because the Nova gas clogs it back up. That is awful. The really bad problems with this map all stem from the Nova Bombers, and if they just weren't on this map, then I think this map would be generally put in like a B tier, maybe a high C tier, because it does have a lot in it to like Primus and Ultimus being playable at the same time, Rushmore and all of his amazing codes, the Elemental Raygun Mark II upgrades, the Avogadro boss fight, the map's OST, and its side Easter eggs. There is a lot of good in this map. It's just, like I said, them Nova Bombers drag down the quality of this map so much that most people just think the map sucks. And it doesn't suck. Like I said, it has a lot going for it, but the Nova Bombers play such a prominent role in it that that's all people can think about when they play the map. Zombies for Breakfast says there hasn't been a good Easter egg song since Dead of the Night. Now, Dead of the Night is okay. It is. But honestly, I would put Tagged or Toten's song over Dead of the Nights. Because even though Tagged or Toten's song doesn't have any lyrics or anything, it is a vibe and it fits Tagged or Toten pretty well. Mystery fits Dead of the Night. I prefer the heavy stuff. So, Mystery's kind of there for me. But songs that released after Dead of the Night that I prefer, like I already said, Tagged or Toten, Alone from D Machine. This is another one like Tagged or Toten, but Samantha's Ballad on Forsaken, that song is immaculate. And I'll tell you what, the Easter egg song on Citadel, Slave, that is a banger. That is probably the best Easter egg song since the BO4 launch. It's probably my favorite Easter egg song since Drowning, Mad Hatter, and Where Are We Going? Jamie says, people saying they want Mule Kick to come back for BO6, but to me it's pointless. By the time you max upgraded all of your weapons, your bullet weapons are redundant anyways. You know, Mule Kick is one of those things where nobody wants it when it's in the game, but when it's not in the game, everybody wants it. And that's just because Mule Kick is a situational perk. Yeah, if I'm on Revelations and I have the Apothecant Servant and the Thunder Gun, there's no reason for me to want Mule Kick and try and get a third gun. It's literally pointless. But if I'm playing Origins, for example, and I have a Staff and the Scar, then I will go pick up Mule Kick and try and get another really cool box exclusive gun, like the Scorpion Evo or the KSG. And if they brought back Mule Kick in BO6, and it's seeming like they are going to, I'd probably only use it on Terminus, because with Terminus, I would love to have 2 red guns plus the Beam Smasher. I like the Beam Smasher, I do. I don't use it for killing, because it's not that good for killing. It's much better when you pair its alt fire with a red gun. And as much as I love my Beam Smasher GS45 loadout, I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to spice things up every once in a while and have a third gun in the form of an ASG, or an AS Val, or an XM4, or so on. You get my point. With the other maps in BO6, especially Citadel Day More, I probably wouldn't use Mule Kick that often. But like I said, that's just because Mule Kick is something that you decide if you want based off a map-to-map basis or a match-to-match basis. Channel member Darkov says that Chaos story should not be tied to the Dark Ether story. I loved it to pieces when it was around, but one element that made it stand out was the BO4 engine and how unique to specialists that you really have that kind of magical power that you just can't get with the Warzone era of zombies. I also found it to be a bit lazy. The Dark Ether story almost resembles a Frankenstein of Chaos and Ether when they could have just gone with an entirely original story. Addressing your last part first, yeah, it is kind of weird how the Dark Ether story anymore is just like they put the OG Ether storyline, the Chaos story, and a few sprinkles of non-Treyarch zombies in a blender and blended it up and poured it in a glass and called it the Dark Ether story. It is kind of weird that they've done that, but I would be lying if I said that I didn't want to see Chaos come back in some form, whether it's the story, somehow we get the crew, somehow, I don't know. I am glad to see it come back in some capacity though. But I disagree about them not being able to make weapons that have a magical power feeling to them. Most of Treyarch's wonder weapons anymore have been grounded in reality, but every now and again they've shown that they can still make a really cool looking weapon. For example, the Crystal Axe on Forsaken. As much as I hate this map and this game, that shield from Vanguard. And on top of that, I'm sure with the scrap season of Chaos, I am sure that they have a ton of ideas left over for wonder weapons and special abilities and all that fun stuff, that if they really wanted to dive back into Chaos, then they wouldn't have a lack of ideas. Robin says, my cats are cooler than your cats. You want to fight? Those are fighting words to me. Let's go, Robin. Put your hands up, let's go. All jokes aside though, if you haven't seen my cats, here they are. Hope you like them. Bringer says, Citadel Day More is aged like milk. I don't think the map has aged like milk. I just think there was a lot of really inconvenient timing with all the bad publicity BO6 and Call of Duty as a whole has been getting. And all that started like 3 days after Citadel came out. And the final hot take for this video is gonna stick with BO6. It's from Cabo or Cabo. I'm sorry. They say, my hot take is that they have to start killing off characters. I feel like the cast is starting to get bloated, especially with 2 people acting as radio helpers. Maybe killing off a member of their team could raise the stakes, get people more interested, and help with the character bloat. Yeah, I didn't really think about it until I read your comment, but you're kind of right. When I think about the ending of Citadel Day More, that end cutscene, there's like 10 people with craft or something. It's ridiculous. We got Weaver, Gray, Carver, Maya, Peck, Strauss, Sam, Ravenov. Who else am I forgetting? I have to be forgetting somebody. I don't know, but that's not... Oh, Raptor 1. That's 10 people I just named off the top of my head that are in our quote-unquote crew right now. I use crew loosely because, yeah, there's technically only 4 people in the playable crew, but you still have the other 6 characters that are right alongside us in the story. So I think you're right. I think it is about time they kill off a few characters. You know, I didn't really see the point of bringing Ravenov back. So far, he's meant literally nothing to me, and that's not only in BO6, but that's in Cold War also. I've never cared for this character. I hated Peck in Cold War, but they have made him a lot more relatable and a lot less insufferable in BO6, so we're not going to kill him off. Who could we kill off? Ravenov? Sorry, Cold War fans, but Raptor 1, you gotta go. Or at least no voice lines for you. They want to really change things up? Kill off Gray. Go ahead. That is most people's favorite character throughout the Dark Ether story so far. And I don't think she's an irreplaceable character, but it would be really cool to see something like Exo Zombies happen again, where plot twist mid-season, they kill off the best character and replace him with another character. I don't know. I'm not writing a story at Treyarch, so don't flame me for my terrible opinion on what I just said right there. I'm just trying to think of a way to thin out this crew, because you are right. This crew is too big, and it could, and hopefully will, raise the stakes in the story when they do. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If I didn't feature a hot take in this video, then feel free to comment it down below. Remember, be nice, be civil, be respectful. We're not playing the telling people to KYS game because they like BO1 over BO3. If you don't want to comment though, you just want more hot takes, click this video on the screen now. Shout out to my members, thank you all so much for supporting me, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.